Hill Station, right along Queens Boulevard, and walked along the tree-lined streets to her home. And suddenly a man jumped out of nowhere, brandishing a gun. Virginia, frightened, held her textbook up to her face. The man aimed at the textbook and fired, ending her young life. So Virginia was sadly the third of 6 victims in a random string of shootings and killings that scared New York City straight. Sadly, this marks the 35th anniversary of the son of Sam Cooper. Virginia is laid to rest here in Maple Grove, the second case, a lot more obscure. In 2005, the body of an 82-year-old woman was exhumed here, and she was the first of hundreds, right? And investigators were stunned. They took an X-ray of the woman's legs and found out that the bone was missing and replaced by plastic plumbing equipment. Turns out that a man had gone through area funeral homes, stealing body parts, and without the next of kin knowing, and selling them for transplants all over. This was known as the body part snatching scandal. Okay? So the skin was turned into sheets, and it was given to burn victims. The veins and arteries were for cardiac patients, and the bones, tendons, and ligaments were used for dental implants and orthopedic procedures. Over 10,000 people received the stolen body parts. So these are a few cases a police reporter will come across, and we must tell stories here. Someday we never forget. Thank you for coming.
My name is Minnie Allen. Hi. I was born in Canada in 1880 and made my way to the States to be a Broadway star. I was a notable vaudeville and musical comedy actress, and actually ended up traveling internationally with the Gilbert and Sullivan Company. We made our way back, and I did end up being on Broadway. I had the honor to perform at the Palace Theater on more than one occasion, and at the time it was not easy. Not only was I noted for my singing, my dancing, my acting ability, but boy was I funny. I ended up being married 3 times. The third time's the charm. And the third guy wasn't in the industry. We made our way back over here to Queens, where I lived out the rest of my days, and ultimately in 1960 made Maple Grove my final resting place. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
I moved and Gladstone started in 1850. I moved to the United Kingdom, England, so I could become king. In 1889, I lost my arm in a war. In 1892, I came back to England to make some things new hay. And the same year, 1892,
Susan Monroe. I was born in 1853 in Wisconsin and moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts. In my early 20s, I met and fell in love with a man named Charles Edward Stone, and we married in 1879. His mother liked to tell stories about her youngest child and his escapades. He was a wild child. In fact, she wrote a book called Our Charlie and What to Do with Him. When he was 13 years old, he ran away to join the Navy, and they caught up with him just in time before the ship sailed and brought him home.
let me begin with this quote by the poet William Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. It is difficult to know at which point love begins. It is less difficult to know it has begun. My story actually begins a couple centuries before my birth in colonial America, where I am a descendant of John and Priscilla Alden of the Mayflower. The love triangle between King John Alden, Priscilla Mullins, and Captain Miles Standish, captain of the Mayflower himself, is one of the favorite stories of Thanksgiving. In fact, the Alden's courtship has been a part of our oral family history for generations, so much so that one of our descendants, Reverend Timothy Alden, wrote about it in 1814. And then later, in 1858, another of our descendants, the poet William Henry Wadsworth, wrote about it and used it for his epic poem, The Courtship of Miles Standish. The goes. Captain Standish was madly in love with beautiful Priscilla, but he didn't have the courage to ask for her hand in marriage, being a man of action and not of words. So he turned to his good friend John Alden for assistance. When John approached Priscilla to forward the case for his friend, Priscilla's famous reply was, "Why don't you speak for yourself, John?" They fell in love but dared not convey that love for fear of offending Captain Standish. But then they heard he was killed in battle, so they decided to marry anyway. However, the reports were false, and Captain Standish was not killed in battle, and he actually showed up to the wedding ceremony. However, instead of bestowing his anger upon the couple, he instead bestowed his blessings and asked forgiveness for his behavior.